are listening to WHOA Podcast, coming to you from Gainesville, Florida. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the WHOA GNV Podcast, the coronavirus sessions, where our temporary mission is to save as many businesses and jobs as possible by sharing how your fellow business owners and professionals are navigating the impact of COVID-19. I am your host, Collin Austin, and my co-host is Michael Dees. What is up, my man?
What's up, man? I missed you yesterday. Yesterday was Monday, the day we recorded, and we didn't have a podcast yesterday, so it felt so strange.
Hey, man.
Glad to get back into it, you know?
Sometimes that's how the schedule plays out, man. I can't help it.
No, none yesterday, 3 today. We'll get through it. How are you, man?
Good, man. I like your set change. You're outside enjoying the weather. It's a nice day.
Yeah, we got some family over here, some kids, so I had to try to get my little quiet piece of area. We'll see how long that lasts.
remote podcast life when you're trying to avoid your children.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, not your children, but whose
Right.
kids are they?
They're Miranda's nephews, I guess. Or I guess, yeah, in a roundabout way. But cousins. I don't know. I'm always bad with genealogy, so I guess it's her cousins. Yeah, young
Gotcha.
kids. Zachy and Matt, shout out. We'll probably interrupt this at some point, but
Right on. Cool. Well, let's get ready to get into today's show. Going to go ahead and thank some sponsors. Podcast fam, this episode is brought to you by our good friends over at the Best Restoration. I remember in 2016 when we remodeled our service department, man, that was a day. Those were some days, I should say. These guys were a huge part of that process and handled the mold remediation and all. They were absolutely awesome. These are people that I love and trust, and they are working hard to help get businesses cleaned and reopened. These guys are the masters of disasters, baby. That's what they say. They're the masters of disasters, and not even COVID-19 can keep them from helping you. Be sure to give the Best Restoration a call at 352-505-3321 or visit them online at thebestrestoration.com.
love that. The masters of disaster.
I was gonna say I love those guys, man. They're awesome to work with and they're just awesome people. Really gentle, really great people.
I love it when you have like business owners that are just like real and they build company cultures that are just super genuine and authentic, and they're a great team, man.
Yeah, they're awesome. They get it done. They get it done for sure.
You know another great team? The
Who
team
is it,
at
Michael?
Brooker Pest Control. Love those guys. Awesome. Brian Aurelio and his team. They're also sponsoring this episode. Look, these guys can help you with all of your pest issues, whether it's mosquitoes, fleas, ticks, termites, squirrels, and pantries. That's a throwback. That's a throwback to episode 88. Had to throw that one in there. I know they can handle that. But whatever your pest control needs are, they've got you hooked up. You can give them a call. The team over at Brooker Pest Control, 352-378-2433, or find them online at brookerpestcontrol.com.
Yeah, baby. So
Yeah, baby.
Thank you to all of our sponsors for supporting our show. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you guys so much. And let's get into it because my friend Noah Wilburn of I Am Creative is here on the show. What is up, man? It is good to see you. Light up that face and let's go. How are you, man?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Working hard.
You have a great smile, man. You know that?
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You know, I got the smiling award in first grade. So
Did you?
Yeah,
I was gonna say you probably hear that all the time.
I always whip that out whenever people say that. I'm very proud of it. What was her name? Miss Yates. That was my first grade teacher.
The smiling reward. I like it. Cool, man. Well, so Noah is a good friend of mine. I mean, Mike always says everybody's a good friend of yours.
That's true.
Hey, man, I've been in this community a while. I'm so grateful for all my friends out there, y'all. But like I've known Noah and his father for a long time. And so like this is gonna be a lot of fun. But Noah, so let's get into this, man. We've been talking about the impact of COVID-19. It's been I can't believe we're going on like 3 months at this point. It's starting to get to that time frame. So why don't we talk about like, what was the impact that it had on you? Because you have a pretty fresh business, right? Like how long have you had your company?
Yeah. So since we started February 21st.
And real quick, Noah, so because I know what you do, but explain to everybody else what you do.
Yeah, no problem. So basically my business, I Am Creative. We create content. for businesses and individuals. But then not only do we create content, we help you manage it and place it in the right places, so the most amount of people can see it, and you can make the most amount of profit from it. So, content creation can be photos, videos, graphic design, website design, whatever it might be. And then also on the other side of that, the flip side is social media management. So, we handle all that stuff for whoever needs it. But so going back to your question, so I started the business in February 21st of this year, right before everything popped off. And so, I was kind of hearing, I guess, can I go into like the origin story of everything? Is that okay? So I was kind of hearing everything that was going on. I was pretty aware of it, but I didn't realize until it happened that, all this was going to happen. I wasn't aware that, things would be shutting down and pretty much life would be closed to the public. So, when it did happen and we started losing jobs, one by one, I was kind of like, well, I just opened this business. I have a bunch of expenses. Like, how am I supposed to pay for anything? Like, how am I supposed to make money? And so, I kind of just sat down, prayed a little bit. I was like, all right, this is no accident. Okay. There's always a reason for something like this. So I decided, after talking with some of my teammates and everything, we came up with the idea to film free commercials for restaurants around the area. Cause I know I had been doing my research. I know that restaurants were really impacted with everything going on. And they were staying open, regardless, because they have, everybody's got to make money somehow. So, I teamed up with the guys at GCM with the GCM app, and we decided to go ahead and make like a little promotional video for them, which turned into, meeting a bunch of restaurant owners from like Texas Roadhouse, PDQ, Blue Highway. We had some friends at Springs Brewery. We did like a fun music video for them instead of a commercial. But, regardless, because I realized that, okay, one, I'm a new business, so I may have expenses, but I also have money saved up in order to pay them off. And not only that, I have some left over to pay my guys in order to get this done. So, and things ended up working out in my life to where, thankfully, I had the money to do it. So, so we got it done. And from that, a lot of people were impacted. A lot of people were blessed. And then from that week of just going at it, trying to meet deadlines and stuff like that, not making anything off of it, from that, there was a lot of blessings that came from it and a lot of doors that were opened. And, so since then, since we released a bunch of those commercials, since then, we've had a lot of good things happen. So as far as how it's impacted me in a very, very positive way. So.
I mean, well, thank you for that. That's awesome. Very generous for you to help all those restaurants. And Matt, shout out to Edward Lavigno. Yep. Shout out to Edward and for everything that he does as well. So super awesome that you guys collaborated on that. I mean, just from your perspective, like in seeing a lot of the restaurants and how they've had to pivot and really deal with this. I mean, are you optimistic? I mean, do you feel like what have you seen from the restaurant side of things?
So, I had the chance to sit down with a couple of the owners and just kind of talk to them. So what we did, so after we create the commercial, we usually sit down with the people that we create stuff for, because we don't want to just like give you something and then just like leave you. But, it's like a relationship thing. So I made it a point to like sit down with a couple of them and, we started talking about that. I had questions. I was like, okay, so what's the future of the restaurant industry? Like, how's this going to happen? And, it's very interesting because one of the main answers that I got was, for at least the next year, it's going to be bad for them because even if the first wave, right, because that's what people are saying, it's going to be a second wave that hits and whatnot. But even if the first wave is over with, people are still going to be fearful of going out in public and going out in larger, in spaces that, people can congregate in. congregate in. And so because of that, restaurants are still gonna, and because they're gonna have their dining place open, like the dining area, that's gonna be more money on them, because obviously it takes money, and I'm sure both of you know this, it takes money to run a business. It takes money to make money. So they're gonna have to pay the servers and whatnot in order to, serve the people, the small amount of people that are gonna be coming in, trickling in slowly one at a time. But even through that, even through some of the money that they'll be making from that, it's going to be going right back into the business. So as far as like the future and am I optimistic? Well, one, I'm always optimistic. Are they optimistic? Not so much. So, it's all, so we got to figure out some ways to try to drive that foot traffic back in. And, the Best Restoration is actually doing an awesome job with that. They're definitely taking the time out to really deep clean these places and telling people that, hey, look, this place is like sanitized, clean, come on in, like come eat.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I'm glad to see that Mike made a set change in the middle of our episode.
Yeah, so I noticed that.
I had to. I could see that the camera was starting to lag a whole lot, so I had to try to like make a quick change, and hopefully this will be okay, and I won't be so choppy. But yeah, I mean, thanks for doing all that. No, I mean, definitely the restaurant sector has been one of the hardest hit. I think it's interesting because I think a lot of people are gonna be hesitant to get back into that, but also just in the couple places I've been, as things have opened back up, there's been wait lists to get back in. So it just kind of, it's like conventional wisdom would say one thing, but sometimes it's like what we're seeing is different. And I imagine as anybody in the restaurant industry could probably attest to that, that's hard to plan for. How much staff do you have? You don't know if people are gonna actually be showing up or if you're gonna have a line out the door. So I think that's a huge balancing act that we haven't really figured out how to handle yet.
Yeah. I didn't even know that. I mean, to me, that's awesome. I mean, I'm glad there's wait lists and stuff. I had no idea, because when I have these conversations, this was back in March, I guess, or early April. So I mean, maybe things have changed a lot since then. But that's really great to hear, and I agree with you completely. It's extremely hard to, measure, measure people's behavior. Yeah.
So I mean, let's dive in. I mean, it sounds like your business has been busy because of this. I mean, being in content creation, is something that we're also very passionate about. I mean, like is it because like are the businesses that are reaching out to you, like, are they the ones that have just like seen the opportunity in this mess, or is it from people who are like, I need to advertise, I need to get myself out there more, let me create some content, let me have you do some video work. I mean, who is your customer right now? Who's the outreach coming from? Yeah. And have you seen an increase in people creating content or a decrease?
So for me, again, I'm very, very, very new into the business. So as far as like an increase and a decrease and whatnot, I think it's just been slowly increasing just because of the amount of attention that we have. I feel like I'm not completely qualified to answer that question, only because I don't have enough data to compare, if that makes sense. But as going back to your previous question as like, who is our customer? Well, it's kind of both. For me personally, and Collin, you do a great job of this, just like giving people information, besides World GNV and besides New Studios for Less, like just you giving out information about what's going on and everything, and having people contact you for that.
I just like to be a connector, man.
Well, there you go.
Like I feel like I've been in Gainesville for 20 years now, and I feel like I've whether it's through the podcast or through New Scooters for Less or just being networking with the chamber and all the other organizations in town, I just feel like I have a lot of resources and I'm able to connect people to the right place. And so I'm blessed that I have that opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And so, I kind of, even in like my freelancing days or whatever, I kind of took a notion off of that. And for me, I'm kind of doing the same thing where, even people that like, I'm not really reaching out through the business. The business comes because I'm just talking to people, just showing them what I know and just making conversations with them. So some of the conversations include, my business is, we don't know what to do. We don't know how to adapt. As far as like our online presence, I understand that social media is more important now. That's what everybody's saying is like, oh, social media is more important. But my problem with social media is that you can't measure who's coming in because of it, and you can't measure anything. But at the same time, I tell people, it's important to just have your brand, your online voice, because that's where people spend the majority of their time, especially right now. That's where people are at. You know what I mean? So again, you could be in the business of food, scooters, whatever it might be, but we're all in the business of attention. So I tell people all the time, like, where the attention is where you want to be at, right? So again, some people realize that, some people don't. And so it's kind of like either or, as far as like where my customers are coming, or my clients, I should say, are coming from. It's from people who are like, oh, I realize this is a good idea. Help me out because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And I'm also too busy trying to save my business, you know what I mean? Or trying to like, not save, but like adapt my business to the current changes. And then I have the people that are like, oh, explain more to me. And then, let's work something out, whatever. So it's kind of both, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think there's plenty of people trying to save their business.
I don't want to be like,
yeah, no, I know, but like, I don't think you're going to hurt anybody's feelings. Hell, I've been like, I'm trying to save my business, so this has been a roller coaster for just about everybody. There have been a select few that I've seen, doing well or doing better because of it, whether it's, you're seeing an increase in people's demand for content for your business, or like the biggest for me has probably been Chain Reaction up to this point. Chain Reaction, the bicycle shop, like rally, like they've been so busy because of this thing, which is crazy. And I mean, he was talking about a complete flip in his demographic. It went from being 80% students to, everybody else in 24 hours. So that's been interesting. And so it's cool to kind of navigate the pivots, but from a like, if you were going to give the business owners here locally in Gainesville, a tip on, where they should focus from, whether it's just via social media content creation, or what's one thing that a business owner can do right now in the midst of this chaos?
Wow, you're asking me? Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, dude, this is what I'm the interviewer on this show. One of them anyway.
So what can a business owner do? Say it again. So what can a business owner do?
Yeah, I mean, just like for local businesses, just give them a tip. I mean, in terms of, kind of navigating and creating content during this time, because one of the things that we've kind of seen, is that there's also kind of a hesitancy. A lot of people are unsure. Like they're like, is it appropriate for me to even, create content or market my business during this? Is it insensitive to do so? I mean, maybe you can kind of talk on your thoughts and then just kind of share a tip with everybody.
So here's my tip. Okay. How do I formulate this into a coherent sentence? From a marketing standpoint, purely based on just data, focus on the stories. So, and I'm gonna give this out. I don't know if like I should or not, but whatever. But this is an idea that I just kind of came up with for my business. And so what we're doing is, like, on our Instagram, the Facebook, we've cleared, or I still got to clear off the Facebook, but we're clearing everything off as far as like what's in the feed. Nothing's there. The only thing that's going to be in the feed is like real high quality projects that we work on, not even for clients, but just like for ourselves, if that makes sense. Just stuff that we come up with like once a month. That's the plan, is to come up with some high quality, awesome video that has to do with something current that's going on right now. We're working on one right now. But on the flip side, what we're really harping and focusing on is stories. And so what we're doing is I gave all my guys the login and password to the Instagram and the Facebook. And all they have to do is just wherever we're at, because we're not all in the same place at the same time. We're in different places doing different things, working on the business, but in different, right? They're filming off their phone, and for me, so like when I see that, or when other people see that on the outside of the business, people are like, oh, they're here, oh, they're there, like what are they doing, what are they up to, right? But it also gives a sense of, you could have Isaac, one of my guys, he's on the phone, hey, blah blah blah, like I'm creative, like this is what we're doing, this is what I'm working on, by the way, stay encouraged. But then you also have me, who's on the phone and like, hey guys, it's Noah Wilburn here, owner, blah blah blah, whatever it might be, value, story, funny, something funny that's just going on. And then you got somebody, so you know what I'm saying? So not only does it like show the what are they doing aspect of the business, but it also shows, oh, this is Isaac. Oh, this is Noah. Oh, this is Gator. Like, you know what I mean? Like it shows the different qualities of the different people that are on the team. Does it make sense? So what's something that business owners can do now? Harp on those stories. Like get in front of the camera. Like, I understand, like we're working with a client right now, trying to be professional and looking professional and everything. I think that's great. And I think that if that's your goal, then do that. But also show the personality, right? And sometimes you just need it to be authentic. You don't need it to be off a camera that you paid $500 for somebody to come in and film you. Sometimes you just need a selfie and just put it out there and people love it. Because in the end, it's not about the business so much. It's about the idea that formed the business. It's about the beliefs that made you create the business for others, right? And, and then, as far as like giving people value and stuff like that, sometimes value isn't information. Sometimes value is just making someone laugh because they're having a crappy day. Like, you know what I mean? And you don't have to have $1,000 budget for that. You just have to have an idea and courage.
That's good, man.
So in the branding, value, content creation game, all that, like who's crushing it? Who are you looking up to in the local level, maybe even the national level, in terms of maybe not like you looking up to, but they're just nailing it, and you're like that's somebody that gets it.
Somebody that I'm looking at. I'm just kidding. No. I mean,
I was gonna say I won't let you say Collin, but
yeah, don't say me.
No, but I mean, I think Collin does a great job. But who else? I'm trying to think on like the local level. I think John Darr does a great job. I think John Darr does a really great job.
John does an excellent job.
Yeah, I think he does an awesome job with just stuff that he does. The motivations, I love it, honestly.
I'd say if you can make insurance interesting, and no shade on anybody in that industry, but if you can make insurance interesting and attainable for everybody, then you're doing a pretty good job.
But also, I think John Darr, I think Collin's doing a great job. I think Jill Nash is doing an amazing job. We're doing some work with her. And she's just an awesome human being, so it's like, I've known her since I was like a little kid, so she's just an amazing human being. And I think she's doing an awesome job with just her nonprofit, for looking for answers and like the Elevate, which is awesome. Who else?
I'll say this from a business standpoint right now through this chaos. I think we've even mentioned it before, but I think First Magnitude is destroying it.
Yes.
They are so awesome. I mean, they have definitely been using the time wisely to create brand and to keep their name in front of everybody and
everything.
and organically, man. I mean, which is so hard to do. You know, like it's one thing to promote, but like I even saw Taylor Williams doing a thing last night, or, you know, like, and for those that are listening, we're recording on May 12th, but like, you know, I saw her doing a thing where she was doing the storytelling stuff, like from the First Magnitude Brewing Facebook, like she was live from their channel, you know. So this cross pollination, these collaborations that I'm seeing this, like using TikTok to create content and then exporting that content to Facebook. You know, like I've seen so many like really creative things coming from First Magnitude in terms of content creation. And then like you had pointed out High Springs Brewery, because I saw that, you know, you said you had done
They're awesome.
what is it with the brewers, man? All these brewing companies get so creative. I love it.
I don't know.
But you did like a music video, you said. I thought it was great.
So it was so much fun. It was great. Like it was a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun.
All these brewers getting super creative, man.
Yeah.
I love it. But that's what I'm talking about, is I love seeing people utilize the time, you know, like that's a great example. I mean, you could be like, man, you could sit around and you could complain that you can't have your brewery open to the public, right? Or you could like get in there and make some kick-ass content.
Exactly. And not only that, people are like, well, listen, again, you know, people are like, the videos that we did I thought they were pretty well done, right? And a lot of people did. And so people are like, oh, that must have cost them a crap ton of money. Bro, like, it was just a relationship thing. Like, we just went out there and did it. You know what I mean? So it's like finding the right people to leverage your relationships. Be like, yo, by the way, like, if you do this for me, I'll do this for you, kind of thing.
So what'd you get? Free beer for a year?
I mean, well, I don't drink.
Throwing this out there right now. I'll help anybody make content. Free beer for a year. Let's go. Let's do this.
They'll be a client of mine after all this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, stuff like that.
You're talking about, I mean, you're doing it as a possible entry point, but there's no expectation of that person, you know, that company.
Great people.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the capacity and the ability, then absolutely. I think, you know, we get into this. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I was going to talk about, like, you know, whether or not you should work for free. You know, like I've had multiple, like, we got to wrap up, so we really can't go down this rabbit hole. but there's a lot of people out there that think that you should not do any work for free. Like, no, like, I've got this skill set. Why you should, you know? But at the same time, like, if you have the capacity and you're able to in the moment, and like, and it's an opportunity to maybe get your foot in the door somewhere and to show what you're capable of, then why not? You know?
I'd say it's another, like, I love a good barter, right? But it's another shining example of the community that we have, that everyone's so willing to collaborate. Even a lot of people within the same industry that may be seen as traditional competitors, you know, come together and do things together, collaborate for, you know, progress, or whether it's getting through what we're going through now, or just to shine light on their industry. And I think that's something that Gainesville just does really well.
Yeah. And, you know, the other thing I'll say is that you're right. And in terms of the community aspect too, we've had so many people, you know, when I saw this going down, you know, I started seeing the chamber put out these little bulletins saying, like, who was offering free services or free help. Like, hey, this company will help you with your SEO, or will help you update your website to get this information out there, and they'll do it for free. And, like, you know, I started seeing a lot of that kind of stuff. And I think this is very much that. I mean, you saw a need, you saw the restaurants that were really hurting, and you stepped up to the plate, and, like, yeah, God bless you, man. Hopefully, like, that turns into a lot of great karma for you in the future, for sure. So I appreciate you doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's no sweat. No sweat.
So, well, Noah, like, tell everybody where they can connect with you. You know, if they're interested in reaching out and getting some of your services. And
yeah. So, I mean, you can find us on Facebook. I Am Creative LLC. Put the little @ sign, you know, so people know. But
I got you, bro. I got you, bro. We're this ain't our first rodeo.
Nah. But I mean, honestly, like you can reach out to me too. Just Noah Wilburn. Just look me up on Facebook, Instagram. But it's I Am Creative LLC. That's really the tag for everywhere. We're working on the website. We're redoing the website right now. The first website I built, and that wasn't. Let's just say my skill set is not website building. So
Startup life, man.
Stick to your strengths.
Stick to my strengths. That's exactly right. But yeah, so you guys can just reach out to me on social media, and I'm willing to talk. Whatever you guys need, I'm there. So
awesome, man. It's been fun. It's good to have you.
And that went by. I was like 30
Dude,
minutes.
it goes by so quick, man. Like I try to keep them to a half hour. They always get over by a little bit, but it's all right. It's our show. So, but thanks for coming on the show, Mike. Any last thoughts, man?
Yeah. Just one last one. What's your biggest takeaway the last 2 months?
Oh, man, this crap is harder than it looks. Oh man,
It ain't for the faint of heart, right?
Yeah, it's really not. It's really not. But it's fun. It's fun though. It's a good time. You just gotta be built differently. That's it.
Yeah. Cool.
Right on.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening to our show, supporting us. Leave us a review, share it with a friend. Go to whoagnv.com, buy a really cool shirt that we have. Support us as well. We appreciate anything that you guys can do. And world, this is the WHOA GNV podcast, the podcast bringing you businesses and individuals that make you go, whoa, whoa. We will see you later. Bye.